Yo, welcome back to the Cali Current Podcast, your home for real talk, wild trends, and that Cali heat. Episode 29, we're going all in. Joined by my co-host, Ishmael.
Spare fingers.
He's a spiritual little fella.
Oh, yeah.
So today's lineup is going to be, we're going from Joe Rogan stepping into the church, to mind reading kids, and why taking your dog to the vet or pet to the vet is starting to feel like you're paying rent.
Well, I mean, I have insurance on my pets. I mean, I don't know if that's normal for a lot of people, but I have my little Gracie baby. She's going to turn 7 on August 20th, 2025. And I have Sophia, who just turned 1 last April. And she's not my dog, but I consider her mine. She's a half breed, but I love her to death.
We'll get back to little half breeds and these scrupulous, this nice
Unscrupulous. The word of the day today is unscrupulous, like me. Whatever. No, I'm not unscrupulous. I'm not unscrupulous. Unscrupulous means that a lot of landlords that are like pointing hidden cameras at their tenants, they're unscrupulous. I'm not unscrupulous. I just said that just to F around with everybody.
Unscrupulous is
unscrupulous.
its definition. Scrupulous.
Unscrupulous. That's the word of the day.
Having or showing no moral principles, not honest or fair. So yeah, and the definition they use: unscrupulous landlords might be tempted to harass existing tenants. Yeah, harass them
in any which way or form.
Putting cameras in there without their consent type stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah, just coming by just to harass them and say, "Why don't you come and shower in my place? The water pressure is all better than there."
Oh, the golden Gemini.
Oh, the golden Gemini. Ouch, that hurt.
It's a gold bar right
really
there.
Strong. I had to polish her. I had to polish the poodle.
The wiener.
I had to polish the wiener.
Nice polishing
not
the
my
wiener.
Not my wiener, but somebody else's wiener. Your wiener.
You're one sick puppy.
Okay, so
so
what's the first topic?
The first topic we're talking about today is how Joe Rogan, famous podcaster. If you guys don't know who Joe Rogan is, he's the host of. Well, he started off as a Fear Factor game show host, and then he really got his fame through the UFC as a commentator.
Wait. He didn't attain his fame through Fear Factor. That's how he got famously famous. But he was a comedian first.
Oh yeah, he was a comedian. That's right.
That's how he gained his fame, through comedian.
But yeah, and then so fast forward to the current, he's really known for his UFC commentary. Correct. And now his podcast.
That's what got him over the top of why he's in atmospheric stratosphere or whatever. You know, he's up in, whatever, in the outer space atmosphere. He is nowhere near us anymore.
No, yeah. He gets like millions of views. But actually, he started going so first on his podcast, he talks about he takes DMT, or he's taking DMT, and they talk about DMT. DMT is what's it called? Like mushrooms, the magic mushrooms, psychedelics. He also talks about aliens and all that stuff. But now he's been seen going to church where he lives at in Austin, Texas.
Church? What church?
Church, a Christian church. I think it's a Christian church. But basically, it all started because recently in January 2025, he had a guest, a Christian apologist, Wesley Huff. And then that episode hit 6.8 million views. And then ever since then, he's been attending church. So, and it's not just church. It's not just Joe Rogan. Also, according to the American Bible Society, they show statistics that Bible use has jumped up from 38 to 41% just in 2025. And millennials is up by 29%, studying the Bible. Gen Z went from 11 to 15%.
Okay, is there a reason for that? Because I would assume because everybody, I think, fears that right now we're in the end of times, especially here in the U.S. with everything that's happening, since we have basically a rogue president that wants to do whatever the heck he wants. And I would assume because he's affecting the economy worldwide, everybody thinks it's the end of the times, because I would assume that that's what's happening here in the U.S., right?
Or
maybe a main reason, a main factor, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why. I mean, Joe Rogan, of all people.
Another thing, too, though, is one of the proclaimed, or everyone claims him as the number one motivational speaker, Eric Thomas. He incorporates a lot of the Bible and a lot of the Bible teaching scriptures into his motivational works. So if he's number one, then that also kind of shows that, the trend. Maybe I think maybe he also has an influence on that, because everyone probably. I mean, who doesn't need motivation? People want to take their game to the next level. Athletes want to take their games to the next level. What do? They get coaches. So same thing with business people. What do they want to do? They want to take it to the next level. Their company, their employees, and then they probably get his stuff that's free. And if he incorporates a lot of that, I think maybe he's influencing that as well.
So he's the number one motivational speaker, statistically speaking, or figuratively speaking, because everything could be all relative. Or
I think it is kind of relative, but his name is up there. I think before I was like, Anthony Robbins or something?
Tony Robbins, not Anthony.
Tony?
Anthony was before he got famous.
No.
Tony was after he got money. Well, whatever, the case may be. But the point is, we try to portray our. Sorry, you and I, Cali Current Podcast.
Current Podcast
tries to portray itself as motivational, as inspirational, as spiritual, as much as we can be. Even though we don't talk politics, we don't talk religion, but we try our best to inject our views.
We sometimes talk religion. I mean, I also kind of inject my views.
It's rare. We do it when it's more like convenience, exactly.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about religion 100% of the time. We don't talk about politics 100% of the time. But it's good to inject a little bit of reality into life, a dose of life. Because if we don't do reality, then we're not living in the real world. And I like to say it to myself or to a lot of people, I'm a realist. I'm not a optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I'm in the middle because I know that it could go either way,
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be a sign of the times. I like to think that people are just coming to their senses.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was, raised in Catholicism, and then my grandma, R.I.P., who passed away, she was really devoted to the church, and that, when I was looking for a place to live, she let me live in their back porch room. So I was really thankful for that, and she always wanted me to go to church. So I started going on a consistent basis, and long story short, I mean, that's always been kind of close to me, prayer and religion.
It's been near and dear to you. It hasn't been close to you. So you're telling me that when I knew you, I've known you all my life. I'm not trying to say that, nothing. I've watched you grow up. You were a little kid. You were like 2 years old when I first saw you.
A young baby.
Yeah, no. I was about 10 years old, and he was 1 or 2 growing up. Point is, I'm 10 years older than him. But my point being is that I've seen Eric Grimace, whatever, your host over here, the Cali Current Podcast, grow up no matter what. I saw him as a kid. I saw him as a toddler. I saw him as somebody that grew up, right? But I've always been in your life in one way or another, even though I've been more of an observer.
Okay, so what's the point being?
My point is that I've known you all my life, even though we weren't close growing up, even though, you probably thought, oh, this guy. In high school, I was near you, but I wasn't really close to you because we didn't really interact when you were in high school. You were a football player. Yeah, I invited you and your friends to come over to play poker at my place or wherever the heck I lived. But we didn't start getting close until recently. Probably because the spiritualism brought us together, brought us closer together in terms of just knowing what we want out of life. I think that's what's happening now. There's a spiritual movement that's basically growing in everybody. Me, myself, and I, I don't know if I've already mentioned in a different podcast, maybe 10 podcasts ago or episodes ago, where I wanted to be a priest. And in 1997, when I went to France, and Pope John Paul was still there, it didn't grow on me that I wanted to become a priest. But my point is, I've always been spiritual, even though I've been far away from God.
So, see, for us, I wouldn't say the increase in Bible. Well, actually, no, yeah.
It's not about Bible. It's about just being more
closer,
religious,
having a better relationship with God. So, see, for us, it's always kind of been there. But what I would like to know is, how is that trend now increasing? Like, because it said it's increasing Bible use and more.
Okay, but you weren't spiritualistic back when you were 17, 16, when I knew you back then, when I was still a coach and you were a football player in
I
the
wouldn't
same
say
school, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would still, do my prayers nightly, daily, but I wasn't
You weren't
in the
as
word.
religious. You were just
I wasn't as
basically
much of
going.
a
You were just getting
researcher.
by
I would do my prayers.
religiously,
Yeah, I wasn't really delving into the
delving.
scriptures. Yeah, delving. I wasn't really studying the type stuff. So yeah, my Bible usage did
But I didn't
increase
know what
since
your
then.
beliefs were back then in 2005, 2006. I didn't know what your beliefs were because one, I didn't really bother to hang out with you. I didn't bother to like say, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Let's hang out. Let's do this. Let's do that." Because I know teenagers. I have nephews that are out of the teenage years, and I know how teenagers think because I've been around kids all my life. I worked with kids all my life.
Yeah, I mean, I would say on average, most teenagers, young adults, they're not. I mean, they're just in their religion because they were brought up into it. But I mean, yeah, I did my confirmation by that young age. By 18, did the first communion and confirmation, but I wasn't like really into studying it and didn't really see all the valuableness that's inside the book. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great that more people are starting to get closer and improve their relationship with God and seeing that the Bible is a good thing. And it might be a sign of the times that people are concerned about the future and all this war breakout, the coronaviruses.
Okay, well, let me
So
just make a quick note of something. The fact that India went to war with Pakistan, that's a big sign right there. Because what the heck are they fighting for? What's the whole point of that? I would say it's a religious war, but it's not a religious war. It's a war of attrition. What are they fighting for? What's the whole point of Pakistan being in war with India? Because as far as I know, all people that are Indian or that are of Indian descent, they're just more peaceful people
they are peaceful
because they're
people.
religious. So what does Pakistan have to do with invading India and vice versa? And I don't get that. That's my point. So yeah, it is a sign of the times that we're seeing wars that are not really necessary, especially in the U.S. Well, okay, not because I want to say that we're going to war with anybody, because we're not nobody's allies right now, and especially because of the fact that Ukraine is being invaded by Russia and this and that and the other. I'm not trying to get into that type of situation for politics, but I don't agree with what Russia did because they're trying to take over the whole Ukraine territory.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think when it comes to wars, they're they probably won't tell us common folk what the reason for their war is. Like you're saying, maybe they'll give like a reason that they want the public to know. But I think at those type of levels, they don't really let the general public know what's the real reason. Kind of like how there's war in, I forgot what countries, I think the Congo. And I heard that there was a war but they don't really tell us. But there's like battles over the lithium mines and stuff like that.
See, but that's more internal war within the country. Why? And not because that's a civil war or anything like that, but because of the fact that they're like not gangs, but it's just
rebel armies.
Territories are trying to take over each other because there is no law. Period.
Oh, and then they all want
like
want to harvest
not in Jamaica, but
the lithium.
But in like Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Right now, the gangs are taking over that government. There's no government in place because they're all fighting amongst each other because they're living in poverty. They all want to escape. Okay, I'm gonna confess something to everybody right now on this podcast.
Preach.
First time ever. So I used to work not because I wanted to work for these people, but I worked for a third-party company that technically we picked up minors, immigrant children. We would call them unaccompanied minors, right? And we basically picked them up from border patrols, from any type of detention centers that were controlled by ICE or the federal government or by border patrol, whatever the case was. And a lot of these people were a lot of Haitians. A lot of these Haitians, technically, because they don't want to go back to their country, they basically used to go naked. Even females, they used to go full on naked in the planes because they don't want to be deported back to their country. And sometimes I heard that females that had children, not even babies, like not even a year old, they used to kill their babies because they don't want to be back in their country anymore because the country is so impoverished right now. It's like, it's sad what's happening around the world in a lot of countries. But my point being is that they don't want to be poor because they don't know how they're going to take care of those children in their country. So what does that say? There's a lot of things going on in the whole world. So I get it. It's a sign of the times, yes or no, get this, that, and the other. And I'm not trying to say that I'm a bad person because all I did was do my job. And I care about kids and I care about wanting to help society. But, I couldn't do that anymore because, one, it was burning me out, and two, not because I want to cue the violins or anything like that, but because I wanted to make a difference. And in that field, I wasn't going to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you need a paycheck, but yeah, after a while, your work, you just can't do it for the paycheck no more.
No.
If you don't believe in, their mission of the work, then yeah, definitely.
And this is why I work with kids. And let me just say something else also. Right now I work with elementary school kids, special ed, SPED, or whatever the case may be.
Sped up.
Special necessities, especially with autism, mid to mild or sometimes severe handicapped children. I love them. They're all awesome. I love the fact that I can work with kids, and it's a blessing for me because I know that they love me being there and everything. And I get the love all the time. And even today, when I worked today, I felt the love with these kids that were TK or kindergarten. And they know that I'm there to help them, and they give me the love, and I appreciate that. But before this job, I had a different job, and I'm not going to mention where I worked, but it's like these kids were immigrant children, and they weren't special ed or anything like that, and they don't appreciate what we're giving to these kids. But not to only mention, but they're all a bunch of knuckleheads, the company that I work for, a bunch of idiots. And I'm saying, and even if they have their degrees or not, they don't know how to handle children. I know how to work with children because I've worked with children in my life. My point is that I love children. I love to make a difference, and no matter what, I'll always work to make sure that the children always get what they need.
Yeah. Well, talking about children, I mean, the next topic we're going to bring up is the telepathy tapes. Is it real or cap? I don't know if you're familiar with the telepathy tapes.
Never heard of them, to be honest with you.
So basically it's this podcast where kids with autism try to guess the numbers and words that their parents are thinking. Like, kind of like they're trying to test them out and see if they have special powers that regular people don't have. So what do you think? You think that's just a bunch of hoax, or you think that these kids really got special powers? Because I mean, autism kids. I mean, one of my cousins does have autism, and when I see him, to me, he's normal.
Is it minor?
I think it is minor. I think it is. Yeah,
well,
he's normal to me.
Because he seems normal to me. I've interacted with him once, maybe twice at the most. Look, I'm drawn to these children. I'm drawn to these.
Are any of them autistic? The ones that you work with? You said they're special needs.
They're all autistic.
All of them?
I only work with SPED.
Are you able to? Dude, you should watch the podcast. We should check it out, and they can run like mini tests on them at work. You'll probably get in trouble.
These kids are godsends, all of them. They're all special necessities, special education, SPED, or whatever label they want to put them now in society. They're all awesomely wonderful. Yeah, they might throw tantrums and all, but I love these kids. That's why I got back into the field with working with them, because I don't have my credential. I'm not a teacher. I'm sort of a little certified to work with them.
You're certified to work with them, but not the teacher credentials.
Correct.
I'm guessing.
I'm not certified to teach them, but I love them. I love them because their energy is awesome.
If you really love them, you'll get your teaching credentials.
No, but it's not because of that.
Oh.
Me not getting not having my teacher credential is my fault as a person, because I hate math, and I've always hated math. And in college, I hated math, and I couldn't never pass math. Especially political science. This is why I hate politics too. One, I hate math, and two, I hate political science or politics. This is why I can't get into politics ever, because I know what it's all about and I hate it. But my point is, I love the kids. I love the special ed, and they can never do wrong in my eyes, even though they throw tantrums. But hey, they're only human. They're only gonna be human as much as we can portray them to be, because of the fact that I love them so freaking much that they're godsends. They're angels on earth, because I wish I was as happy as them as an adult can ever be, because we can only model ourselves towards what they feel. And they're always usually happy all the time, even though, they make mistakes. Nobody's ever perfect, not even them. We're human. I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of character flaws, especially me getting frustrated sometimes. But that's just the way I am. That's the way God made me. The same way that special education kids, they were made by God because they are God sends. They're all angels on earth, and no matter what, I'm always going to respect them. Not because I respect them more above than regular normal people, but because I have a lot of patience for them, because I truly love them, and I want to be like them. I want to emulate them because I'm never going to be as happy as they are going to be.
So though on the telepathy tapes, that podcast, or it's like a documentary that they're trying to do. It's like a documentary podcast. They focus on the non-speaking autistic individuals. So like how you were saying that that my cousin probably has like a minute or small hints of autism. I guess he's one that's able to speak. I mean, to me, when I see him, he talks, acts normal. He's like, you know, he acts like a little badass kid.
But it's because they don't know what they do sometimes.
Oh,
they think that what they do in their head is like normal, when in reality they don't see it that way. And I'm only saying it, everything, they're pure. You know what I mean? I wish I could be that pure as them. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. And that's why I love working with kids is special education, because of the fact that they trust me as much as I trust them.
Would you see, is there any of them that don't speak or that like
a lot of them? Yeah, I have to do sign language, but no matter what, I love it when they smile at me because it tells me, it's a reassurance that they trust me. And yeah, a couple of them were non-speaking kids, but I can't blame them for what they are because I love them no matter what. That's what humanity is all about. That's what humanity should be all about, or empathy, or whatever the case may be.
What about, okay, so do you think that's a thing? I mean, you work with special needs kids, like, dang, what do you think about the telepathy tapes? Is that real? Because it's saying also too that it's substantiated on pseudoscience. There's no scientific evidence.
It doesn't have to be scientific.
Then again, how can you? Yeah, it's gonna be hard for science to kind of verify telepathy. Telepathy is like something that we can't.
Okay.
That people don't know how to do yet.
Let me.
Us as humans.
I don't know the actual Bible verse that says that Jesus Christ loves children because they're the purest souls that are going to go to heaven no matter what. And that's the way I see these SPED, or the special education, or whatever, special necessities children. Yes, they do have special powers.
Special powers. So they have powers that you and I do not have.
Yes.
You're saying.
Yes. Have you ever seen the movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise?
Maybe.
Not
I
a
don't
lot of
think
people
so.
have.
No, probably not.
That's a great example of what I'm talking about, because they can possibly see things, and they're way smarter than I'll ever be. I'm not even smart at all. They're smart. They're smarter than any. They could be geniuses for all we know. You know that's the point. That these children know things that we don't know, and that's why they're happy all the time.
Are you able to? I mean, not to put you on the spot, but how have you seen them use their special powers or telepathy powers?
They don't have to. I feel their powers all the time. I feel the grace of God. I feel the Holy Spirit in them, and I feel comfortable around them. And I'm not a patient person. I can.
Yeah, no, you're very impatient.
I can lose my patience in a heartbeat like that. But I love these children no matter what, and they can never do no wrong in my eyes, and I have all the patience in the world for them. And this is why I got back into the field, because if I didn't get back into the field, I don't know what I would have done with myself. Yeah, I miss being around kids.
I'm gonna have to try checking it out, because I remember hearing about it maybe a couple months ago about the telepathy tapes, and now it's even saying that it's topped the Spotify views in the United States and the United Kingdom for a few days. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. So people are eating this up. Is it just faith, fiction, science?
It's a little bit of everything, but it's more of belief. You have to believe in these kids.
So it's not like you're saying that you do know there's something special about them. So based on a regular kid.
That's the whole point. SPED, special education.
So there's so you got your regular children, you got your regular elementary children, and then you got your autistic, particularly with the ones that are not too verbal.
There's mild to mid, and then there's mild to severe, and then severe, period.
Okay, so you're telling me when you work with these children, the ones that are regular or don't have autism, the verbal issues, versus a kid with the autistic, nonverbal, you're telling me that they are more special powers?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, look,
And that's coming firsthand from
yeah,
someone who works with these children.
But okay, I always say that art imitates life, but in
Oh, yeah.
reality, it's life imitates art. There's a movie. I mean, I don't know if everybody believes in it.
I think,
The-
I think
the
our life
accountant.
does.
The accountant, the child grew up
Oh, was he
mid to
autistic?
severe autistic.
Oh, he was autistic.
But
That's right.
But
Oh,
eventually he grew out of it. And in part 2, we saw part 2, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And it was awesome, right?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But the point is that I love these kids no matter what. They can never, like I said, they can never do any wrong in my eyes. I have a niece, a grandniece actually. She's mildly autistic. All that's wrong with her, she's a normal child. All that's wrong with her, and that not because it's wrong, is because we perceive it as wrong, is that she can't speak. She can't use her words. She's already 5 years old, but I love her to that because it hits hope. It hits close to home because it's like you would say it would never happen to me in my family, but it did happen. But I still love her because she loves so unconditionally, even though I'm not close to her, and it affects me a lot.
well,
And I
yeah,
love her so much that I know that one day God's gonna grace her and she's gonna be able to speak one day because every day she's getting smarter and she's learning and she's speaking little words here and there. Every single time I see her.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the babies, you know. They're like, I guess they got their special powers or special gifts, and like you said, they're all special in their own way, and you know, you just can't disregard them, and just because they're special ed needs.
That's just a word that society uses because they don't want to perceive them as normal. But to me, they're above normal. They're better than us because they're all happy all the every day I see her because I live with her right now. It's like she's always smiling. She's always happy because she's alone, yes, in her thoughts and her smartness, but she's happy, and I wish I was that happy all the time.
And you know what? That's true too, because there's a lot of times when, you know, you have the regular kids, you know, the kids that don't have these special needs. And yeah, a lot of the times nowadays, like they'll be angry and mad, like, oh, you took away my cell phone. Oh, you took away my tablet. Oh, you don't want to let me, you know, go do this. You don't want to let me be able to put makeup on. So then, yeah, they'll be sometimes they'll angry kids, like, friends, their children, or, little cousins, versus like, yeah, the special needs kids, they're more like just full of joy. They're not so, their minds preoccupied like the other children.
It's not that they're preoccupied. It's that they don't have any thoughts that are, I guess, bad thoughts. They're not thinking about, jealousies. They're not thinking about shyness. They're not thinking about, what can I do to make this person like me, or make this person interact with me. They're normal. They're human beings, yes, but their thought process is different than ours because, maybe something in their mind was rewired, but I don't perceive them as abnormal. I perceive them as just a little flawed minorly, but that doesn't mean that they're discarded. I love the children no matter what. I don't have any kids myself, and I see it the way I see it is that they are better people than us because they, no matter what, can never have any type of flaw that's gonna affect them, and they're always gonna be happy no matter what. And that's what I envy a lot, and that's why I like working with them, because no matter what, I wish I could be like them, and I never will be. But I have a lot of faults in myself. That's just the way I see it.
They're beautiful, God's children, God's creations.
We're all equal no matter what. But it's just that too bad they were born like this. There's nothing that they could have done to change it. But if that's how God's will is, then that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our pros or cons. Where our deficiencies are. They they have superiority and those types of things. And yeah, me myself also, I don't have kids, but my baby is my little Oreo. This is not my little Oreo, my little Gaminus. This is the golden Gaminus right here, over here knocking down the golden wiener.
I didn't mean to do that.
So if this was a real golden wiener, a real Gaminus,
I love wieners, by the way.
Unscrupulously, he loves them. Unscrupulously. But anyways, the third topic, loving pets is getting expensive now. Like I was saying, these vet bills are getting out of control. It's like paying rent. Just Saturday, the other day, I took Oreo, my Dashin mix, Dotson mix, whatever. So I took her to the vet, and man, because she had like a lot of itchy skin, and it usually happens around the summertime. She gets itchy, and I even gave her the flea medication before. So, and she bites herself a lot, but yeah, she was losing so much hair because of the heat and biting herself. I was like, okay, I gotta take her. But it always happens every summer. So I take her. Long story short, they wanted like $700 for like all the medications, all of this, all of that. I was like, yo,
okay, $700 is a little
700.
overblown, and the only reason I say that is because I've taken my Gracie to the vet before for
Gracie,
minor
baby.
things. The vet or the whatever animal hospital is gonna try to hold you over the coals for everything, or they're gonna try to charge you or bill you for things that you don't care for or need, and that's just what they do. It's everything. It's like everything in life. Everything is a money making reason.
Yeah, because they were like trying to throw the whole gamut kitchen sink to get rid of the problem, which was her itching and biting herself. And I was even like, okay, she was trying to say it could be this, it could be mites. And I was like, well, I don't think it's mites because I have two dogs, and the other dog, Geminus, the one that looks like this dog, that one, she doesn't have no issues. Her skin has a beautiful, rich, perfect coat. So I was like, it can't be mites because why would the mites only attack Oreo and not Geminus? So
you already know right there that's a farce because they're trying to get you right there because it shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's like 20% certainty right there.
Yeah,
right?
but she just wanted to throw the full gamut. She's like, well, so we cover all the bases. You know, if we get this, if we get her this medication, it'll take care of that just in case it's that. And then I was like, all right, you know what? That one, I just said no to that one, decline that service because, like I said. And then once I declined it, she's like, yeah, 90% of the time it's just seasonal. It's not really mites. And it's like, you could have told me that before I declined it. But, well, you know, nonetheless, I mean, well, another thing that I was kind of thinking about it too is like, okay, not to say that I'm, not to say that I'm unscrupulous when it comes to my dog's health. But at the same time, yes, don't get me wrong, I love my dogs. But at the same time, I'm willing to just say, hey, you know what? At work, we've had, well, I guess what you can consider a junkyard dog, which is kind of subpar living standards. So when I go to the vet, I'm always willing to like, yeah, I love you, Oreo and Geminus, but at the same time, it's like, I mean.
But then you've already had her for 10 years. Oreo's already 10 years old at minimum, right?
She's about 6 years right now. So she's
okay, fine.
Still got a couple more years to go.
You already know the ins and outs of her. You already know what makes her tick. You already know everything that has to do with what her quirks are or what happens to her at a certain time frame or season of the year. So that's the one way to eliminate the factors. But Geminus too, you know, if she's not being affected the same thing that Oreo is, you can correlate to that.
Yeah. So long story short, she's gone through seasons. She's gone through these issues where, you know, she's not gonna die. She's not gonna have terrible health if I don't treat her allergies or skin issues. So I'm willing to just tell the vet, you know what? I appreciate your visit here. Just gave me the flea medication, my re-up on flea meds, and
but that's all you can do because I've done the same thing for my Gracie babies. Like they did prescribe 10 different things. Look, I got duped recently. I took my mom's dog, which is actually my dog. Her name is Sophia. She's a half Maltese, half Frenchie mix, but she looks mostly Frenchie, but her fur makes her look like a Maltese because she's all over the place with her fur. And it's like, oh, well, you have to give her a full year's medication, dog treatment for, heartworm, because if you don't, something might happen to her. Well, I only bought her a 3-month treatment, and the 3-month treatment is going to expire already on the 26th of this month.
Uh-oh.
When I didn't even do that for my own Gracie. Gracie, I love with all my heart, no
Gracie,
matter what.
baby.
She's only 5 pounds, and Sophia's like 15, 16 pounds. And it's like, why are they going to tell me that she needs a full year's treatment? And it's, okay, well, I'm going to have to look it up to make sure that that's what she needs for the heartworm. Because Gracie's never had to go undergo with that type of treatment for one full calendar year.
Yeah, another thing I noticed too. Okay, so when I was there, there's obviously other customers, clients there. This other lady was about to pay $1,550 for her dog. I was like, dang, $1,550 in the vet bill just like that. Boom. Which kind of led me to the thing to believe is that it's kind of like I started comparing it like the funeral services where
Yeah.
they kind of prey on your emotions because they know people are coming, especially if your pet is injured or like they really got you, like by the they really got you because you're in a desperate time, and they could really play on your emotions like, oh, the dog needs this medication. I mean, yeah, I understand if it's like if the dog just got shot or went through got into another fight with another dog or with the fox, then yeah, definitely, you got to do what you got to do to save the dog's life. But for other things like flea medications or like you were saying, preventative care like the heartworm, things like that, I think the vets could really like take advantage of people, kind of like mortuaries or funeral services. So to not get taken advantage of in those, you just got to make sure that you pre-plan.
It's not that they could. It's not that they will, because
They will.
like you said, they're predatory on your emotions.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because my Gracie had a surgery within her first 2 or 3 years of her life where she had her knee, ACL, MCL, or whatever the case was, surgically repaired her left knee, I would have assumed. And if basically the vet said, oh, well, if you don't get this, she's going to suffer the rest of her life, or if you give her surgery, she might die, and this and that and the other. But the surgery cost me about 5 G's. And the good thing that I had pet health insurance, or not health insurance, but pet insurance in general, because if I didn't have that insurance, that would have, I would have been $5,000 in the hole. And it's a good thing that my insurance, whatever I had, covered at least 90% of the whole bill. She survived, and the vet said, well, you have to do this, and the other to make sure she doesn't get on her right knee, because it's most likely she's going to get on her right hind knee, or whatever the case was. And that could be another $5,000 vet bill, or whatever the case may be. But my point is that they do prey on your emotions, because of the fact that when I took her to the vet last would assume September-ish of 2024, the vet wanted to do all these tests and run all these whatever examinations on her, that it was going to cost me about $1,200. But in the end, I ended up paying like $500-600, maybe $900 at the very most. I don't know what the case may have been, but my point is that I had health insurance and it covered it, and that's just how it is. That's how they get you. It's like everything else. It's like paying $100,000 medical bill if something's wrong with you, and it's like, well, if your health is important, if you don't value your life, you're not gonna pay it, or you're not gonna get the coverage that you need.
Yeah, according to Dogster, it's a pet healthcare statistic. On average, emergency veterinarian costs around $561. Only half of the owners have the money ready for that. That's down 82% since 2023. So yeah, I would say just go ready. I kind of went ready. I wouldn't say I went ready. I'm just not ready to drop money, I guess, on my dogs. So I was kind of ready, and I was willing to decline a lot of services, but so like at a mortuary funeral, so they don't prey on your emotions there. What do you do there? You have to pre-plan. You have to have everything planned already. So I would say kind of do the same thing for the vet. Just be ready to, I guess, decline services.
No matter what you do, the vets, the morticians, the funeral services, whatever, I don't know, whatever. If you want to go to the cemetery, everything has to be prepaid. If not, they're going to hold you over the coals. They're going to freaking take you to the cleaners. They're going to make sure that they clean you out, because all you're trying to do is bury a loved one. It doesn't matter if it's a person, if it doesn't matter if it's a mascot, if it doesn't matter if somebody that's near and dear to your family, whether it be either or. Point is that preventative measures do help. And, it doesn't matter what you do. It's like, no matter what, it's all about money, 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 cash, cash, cash. Let's see who can pay us the most, because that's what it is. They're cashing in on your pain and suffering.
Yeah, so just be ready to decline services if you go to a vet, or just be aware that you have a soft spot for your pet, and the vet is ready to give you all the bills, which they'll fix the problem at the same time. Well, I mean, if money is no issue, then go ahead. But I mean, for me, I'm on a budget. So yeah, that's a wrap for episode 29. We hit the sci-fi, the furry finance, and I hope you guys were filling all 3 topics.
And don't forget that you have to like, share, subscribe here at the Cali Current Podcast. Don't forget the bell don't forget to hit that bell notification. Everybody says smash that like button, but I don't like to say that. I say you.
Yeah, follow us
hard.
Follow us on YouTube. Smash. Drop a comment. And if you skipped a vet bill, let us know. Or if Joe Rogan got you looking up the Psalms in the Bible, also let us know.
Yeah, well, not everybody's religious, but eventually at some point you're going to have to get religious, because of everything that's happening technically is in the Bible already, right? According to what everybody believes or whatever the case may be.
And if your dog guessed the number through telepathicness, tell them we need them on the podcast.
Yeah, and those SPED children, special education, special necessities, love them for all they're worth, because if they weren't here, they're the salt of the earth. We could only learn from them and not disparage them, okay? Love them with all your might. I do, even though they're not my children, but no matter what, I respect them. I treat them like they're royalty. And
Peace out. Peace out, everybody.
Love you, everybody. Don't forget, the word of the day is unscrupulous.
Unscrupulous.